Good morning and welcome to the Center of Love, or as my kids like to call it, the Love Club. Thank you for being here today in body and in spirit. Thank you for your presence and your gifts. It is truly a blessing to have you today. As most of you know, my name is Candace and I have a secret. I don't want to be here. I don't mean here as in my home or with you lovely people. I mean here, up here, behind this podium, speaking with all of you, with all of your eyes directed towards me. I don't enjoy public speaking. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. But here's the thing, like many of you, I live by a certain code of conduct, a certain set of self-imposed rules that I try to live my life by. One of these principles, or mantras, if you will, is as follows. Find the fear, lean into it, and level up. So here I am, leaning into the fear for you. doing him a favor, and also making an offering to this wonderful growing community that we are building together. I also do this to prove my roommate or my ego, to prove to my ego or my roommate that I do have something worth sharing, that I do have something meaningful to say, and that I am heard by the people who love and support me. The same is true for each and every one of you. You all have something worthy inside of you that needs to be shared. You have something meaningful to say, and you are heard. It seems to me anyways, that it's very easy to see that in others, yet not always easy to see within ourselves. Whoever thought self-love and acceptance was easy didn't realize how challenging it truly is. Thankfully, at our next gathering, Cressa will be speaking in depth about self-love. Today, our speaker Oliver aims to pave the way for the subject while also sharing the first commandment of his very own do-it-yourself religion. So before Ollie and Cressa bestow all the answers upon us, I would like to remind you that we are already doing that. We are supporting one another, giving each other love, so that we can find it in ourselves and become one with it. Mayor Baba said, "I am the ocean of love. Drown in me. Let's drown together in the ocean." And in doing so, find the fear, lean into it, and level up. Thank you for allowing me to attempt to do that this morning.
Give my kids a second to mob Candace here. Give her a hug.
Lorianne is saying, great job, Candace. You are amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much, Candace, for stepping outside of your comfort zone, for stepping up and being vulnerable in front of all these people as she walks out of the room to get tissue. I imagine it's very powerful when we feel that kind of emotion. So thank you. All right. As Candace said, in the next gathering, we will have a lovely talk from our friend Cressa about self-love. And when I heard this, I thought, well, I feel like there's some precursors to self-love. And I thought, what a great opportunity for me to talk about my favorite number one commandment. But before I get into that, I'd like to start by sharing some wise words from Paul. No, not the Apostle Paul, the entertainer and crossdresser RuPaul. And she says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? It's a valid question. Of all the shades of love, self-love seems rather foundational. Even if the entire world is madly in love with you, if you don't love yourself, what good is it gonna do you? If you don't feel loved, what does it matter if millions of people adore you, right? So I'm pretty happy that the conversation in our community is meandering towards the subject of self-love, because to me, it's key, it's foundational. So then why is it, as Candace so eloquently put it, so difficult to love and accept ourselves? Contrary to what my lovely wife said, I don't have all the answers. In fact, I don't have any of the answers. What I have are theories. And in case you didn't know, this is a very interesting factoid. The root of the word theory is theater. So when you hear about a theory, what you're really hearing is a story. Now, scientific theory, it's a very specific kind of story with a lot of parameters around it. But at the end of the day, a theory is theater. So here I am with a story to tell you. And the story today is that we struggle to love ourselves because it is difficult to love that which we do not know. It's hard to love a complete stranger, isn't it? Because we don't know them. And part of love and relationships is getting to know people. That's how we go from being strangers to friends, from unknown quantities to known and welcomed quantities. That's how the hearts open and love flows. And so today I'd like to share with you the first commandment of my personal religion, because I feel it's a necessary prerequisite to accepting and loving yourself. So this seemingly simple and expansive commandment is the one that was posted on the archway of the Delphic Oracle in ancient Greece, where people came from the world over to have their futures read. Gnothi Seauton, or in Latin, nosce te ipsum. It's also the words that are attributed to the philosopher Pythagoras, whom you may know from elementary school with triangles. He also had some pretty wise things to say, and one of those things is as follows: know thyself, then you shall know the universe and God. Know yourself, then you know the universe and God? How could that possibly be? Unless, of course, self, universe, and God are one and the same, right? So as I said, this line of inquiry can lead us to many interesting realizations about who and what we are. But today I don't want to talk about how you are nature and you are the universe and the power of nature is your power. That stuff is great. But we're going to take it down to basics right now, because we're talking about the foundation, which is loving and accepting yourself. So for today, I'm going to say this: know thyself. Then you can develop a relationship with yourself. Then you can begin to fully know, accept, and love yourself. In this regard, know thyself paves the way for love thy neighbor as yourself. Love what life brings to you. Love life. And then as we get closer and closer to the Meher Baba quote, we're just drowning in love. We are becoming love, and we are love. So, pretty important to know thyself, in my personal opinion. And as you know, I'm a spiritual explorer. I study scripture, philosophy, and psychology for fun. So I'm a bit of an oddball like that. But I'm usually looking for useful tools that I can use in these traditions to live well, with vitality, wisdom, wholeness, and love, and all that fun stuff. And as I've been mapping out this landscape over the last 10 years or so, I found the same themes and ideas recurring again and again. Now, sure, they use different words, they use different metaphors, but when you understand what they're talking about, you see that really everybody's saying the same thing across all these different traditions and sciences. Know thyself is right up there with the golden rule, impermanence, non-duality, and all the other recurring themes that you find in all the great traditions of the world. And so to me, it's like, if I find it across the spectrum, I probably should pay attention to it. Might not be true, but it's something worth investigating. And so that's what I've done. I'll just give you a quick tour of this. In the Vedic tradition of India, they call this line of inquiry Brahma Vidya, which means the supreme science. Supreme, because where other sciences study the external world, the supreme science seeks knowledge of an underlying reality that informs all other studies and activities. foundational, as I said. In other words, where other sciences seek knowledge about the external world, the supreme science of self-inquiry seeks to know the knower of knowledge. Take a second there. There's knowledge, but who is the knower of the knowledge? The experiencer of knowledge. That's what this line of inquiry can lead us to. Lao Tzu says that knowing other people is a sign of cleverness, but knowing your own self is the mark of wisdom. Wisdom, that's a good thing, right? We all want that. So it's interesting. And then across in the West, we have Aristotle, who says, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So once again, if you're going to start a spiritual journey, maybe, just maybe, knowing yourself is a good starting place. Now, I'm not just trying to cite sources to seem like I'm fancy here. I'm just trying to back up my point with some other people who are much wiser and knowledgeable than I am. Last quote for you. The Sufi mystic Rumi, to whom many quotes are attributed on the internet. Sometimes they're not actually his. I don't know if this one's his, but I'm going to share it anyways because this is a very profound quote, okay? The universe is not outside you. Look within. Everything you want, you already are. Now, take a second to think about that. The wording of that last sentence is key. Notice that Rumi doesn't say everything you want, you already have it. It's not about possession. He says everything you want, you already are. You are it, baby. You're it, right? Wealth, health, love, peace, wisdom, everything you want, it's here already. You don't have to go out there to seek it out. I don't know about you folks, but when I realized this, it was a life-changing moment, and my life hasn't been the same since. So, yes. Now, I have to address the elephant in the room because I know I'm a mind reader, in case you didn't know. And I can see some of you right now are thinking to yourselves, well, I know myself. Of course I know myself. Who else could possibly know me better, right? It's okay if you're thinking this. It's very common line of reasoning, and it's one of the reasons we never get to know who we actually, truly, deeply are. Because when we think we know, why would we bother investigating, right? If I know who I am, why would I ask myself that question? Why would I go within and explore what's in here and in here? But when you accept the invitation and you go into the cave you fear to enter, as Joseph Campbell put it, when you go within yourself with an open mind and you investigate and question who and what you truly are rigorously, with discernment, and more importantly, with acceptance of whatever inconvenient truths you may discover about yourself, what you find is that there are levels and layers to you, that the psyche swirls with archetypal energies and ancestral memories, that the mind is full of thoughts, beliefs, and ideas, that the subconscious is crowded with biases, expectations, and unspoken assumptions about the way things are and the way they should be. And of course, that the heart is marked by traumas and old wounds. Indeed, you will find that you are a being of light and of shadow. We find that there's all this stuff in there, and so like a person who's looking to downsize and purge the contents of their house, we start to examine what's in there and to assess its value. Do I need this? Is it valuable? Is it true? Sometimes we discard it. Sometimes we renovate. Who knows what we do? But the truth is this, we find that there's so much stuff in there and we start to clear house. And that's when we start to make some serious, groundbreaking discoveries about who and what we truly are. And more importantly, who and what we truly aren't, are not, right? So I can't tell you what you're going to discover within yourself, because everybody's different. Everybody's got an individual path that they need to go on. But what I can tell you with pretty good confidence is that if you pursue this line of inquiry, as I've described it, It will open the way for self-acceptance and self-love. Not the egoic self-love of arrogance and puffing yourself up. True, genuine self-love. The other thing I can share with you in closing is one of the discoveries that have emerged for me over years of self-inquiry. It's not really an intellectual realization, but rather an experience that I've had time and time again, and I will attempt to translate it into words, but as we know, words, they're flimsy, okay? So bear with me here. Here's what I discovered. I'm a somebody who's actually nobody. And when I realize that I'm nobody, I experience myself as everybody and everything. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't know if those words resonate. It's the only best, most concise way that I have of describing it. And now, my friends, my life is spent roving and meandering between those three layers, right? When I need to, I descend into the role of Ollie the husband, Ollie the father, Ollie the manager, Ollie the whatever. When I need to, I rise above and I become everybody, and I feel compassion for people that I would normally feel nothing but contempt for. I feel love for everybody. I feel connected. I feel amazing, expansive. And then the rest of the time, I try to hang out in that middle layer where I am nobody. But nobody doesn't mean nothing. That layer of being is loving awareness. You are the field of awareness. You are not the knowledge, you are the knower. You are the thing behind everything else, right? That's the middle layer that I have found. So anyways, that's what I have experienced. And next year I might do a talk on Know Thyself, and I might have a completely different theory and a totally different story for you. But at this point in time, this is what I've discovered. We've just barely scratched the surface. Knowing yourself is a vast line of inquiry. You can study yourself as a physical, biological being. You can study the psyche and the mind and how it functions. You can study yourself in all these different ways and different facets. And guess what? You might come up with a totally different answer from mine, because ultimately we are everything. So whatever you come up with, that's a valid answer too. So anyways, whether this is completely new to you, this whole idea of knowing yourself, or whether you're, as I said before, a seasoned soul excavator and you've gone in there and unearthed all kinds of things, whatever your experience level, whatever your background, I hope that these words resonated with you. I hope that you found value in them, and I hope that they serve you well on your quest for knowledge of self, self-acceptance, and of course, self-love. So thank you very much. Thanks for the great conversation.
Do I stop?
Oh, yeah.
Don't stop it yet. There's a closing song.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we
Yes.
Oh, okay. The
Sure, yeah,
Thank you. Awesome. We'll switcheroo.
Eventually.
okay.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the great conversation. Make sure you come in 2 weeks for Cress's talk on self-love. So I feel like we've covered a lot of ground today, which was great. Pardon me? Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The basket is there again. Our expenses are low, but we've almost broken even. There's no rush, no obligation. Your presence is the true gift here. Your energy, your insights, that's 100% the most important thing here. If you got a few bucks, great. If not, no worries. But yeah, again, thank you so much. The folks online, great conversation. Candace, would you like to say anything in parting?
Thank you. You guys are all wonderful. I'm happy that we're doing this in our home. Mhm.
And thank you for, again, coming up here against your instincts and your better instincts to do that. And it was beautiful, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay.